Howdy, folks and partners. I'm your host, Liz. I've got a migraine. I'm joined, as always, by my migraine-less co-host, Marcus.
Howdy. You know, this is Raw. And you know what was really great about tonight? What I really enjoyed?
Yes. What?
Um Watching before Raw Poltergeist. That was fun.
I didn't like that.
You
That was
didn't?
a bit much.
Oh,
No,
that's my caramel.
it's just, it's just a little. I don't know. It was a little too spooky for me.
Oh,
I don't like demons.
one of my favorite
Also,
horror
to be fair,
movies.
Poltergeist is like cursed as fuck.
Yeah, because Spielberg was a cheap little bitch. Wanted real skeletons.
Very weird. Very weird.
But yeah. We also watched Raw. Um,
Oh yeah.
not great. Draft was a bit underwhelming.
Um,
No cool call ups.
I think I think the thing for me is that um with the way that they showed off the pool, kind of could assume who was getting called up immediately. I'm shocked that Dakota Kai did not get called up though.
Yeah.
That has me a little flabbergasted.
Yeah. Surprised some bigger names like Gargano didn't get called up, like Pete Dunne. Now he's left alone.
We knew from the start that Gargano, Tommaso, and I think it was Kyle were not on the list of people getting called up.
That was according to reports. You never know. Stuff can change. Like, I don't think Gable Steveson was on the pool at all. Was he? You were looking at the pool. No, he
No, I
wasn't.
wish he wasn't involved at all to begin with, but
Um. Oh, Sean Rossap mentioned one name left off the draft was Titus O'Neil. Um. Yeah, he was drafted to Raw last year and wrestled once last year, and not at all this year, like because he's too busy with charity work.
yeah, I don't think that Titus's main focus is wrestling right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good episode of Raw, I think. Um, not the best draft in the world.
They just announced on Raw Talk that Liv Morgan was drafted to Raw.
Oh yeah, we still have several people that have not been drafted.
Yeah. Lucha House Party has not been drafted.
Well, I don't think there's a Lucha House Party to be drafted at this point.
You never know. So yeah, Raw. Didn't feature anything super notable. Some brand crossover stuff for the sake of the draft.
For the draft, there are like some picks though that like definitely got me a little hyped up.
Yeah, some like profits on Raw.
And with
Finn,
AJ.
AJ. But as far as the episode went, the draft was probably the biggest thing. Um, Charlotte versus Bianca was supposed to be super exciting, and then it ended with the DQ. We had a women's tag title match that just was lame. Rematch, third rematch. Um, Drew and Biggie teamed up against Dirty Dogs. That was a lot of fun.
That was definitely a really fun one, and I think the promo that went before it was also really fun.
Yeah. We got some shakeups, but nothing super exciting right now. I think the excitement will come on Friday. I hope.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just start off with the news.
You know what I'm gonna do this time?
What's that?
Actually, fucking change the sign.
Oh, I thought you were gonna skip the news this time.
You're cute.
Huh?
You're cute.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. So,
What?
I have to pull up the news.
Okay.
So let's see what we've got. Not a ton of news, actually. Shockingly. The first one is first piece of news is that Tessa Blanchard has finally signed with somebody.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. She finally signed with the relaunched version of WOW, Women of Wrestling. They have a press conference scheduled for Wednesday night, October 6th. So far, the only names heard that are attached are Blanchard and apparently another unnamed former WoW talent.
Okay.
Which,
I mean, it's Tessa Blanchard,
yeah.
allegedly racist. Morgan Smith said, "Thank God, this is a place nobody cares."
That's kind of what my face was about. Like, well.
Don't touch Impact again.
Please.
Wasn't she on AEW for a hot second too? I'd have sworn, like early on.
I thought there were rumors that she was going to be.
She was at All In. I know that. Fought Britt Baker and Chelsea Green, I think. But yeah, that's news.
It is in fact a new piece of information.
Yeah.
Another piece of news is that it seems like Fandango, I'm never going to decide how I want to pronounce it. I'm sorry, guys. Might be going over to GCW for a little bit of fun.
Okay.
There was a video on their Twitter account that said Fandango and then it made it out to just Dango.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's going to be for their Fight Club event in Atlantic City. Which is Jon Moxley versus Nick Gage, and Mick Foley's the one presenting the title.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I could see Fandango fighting Joey Janela. That'd be fun.
I'm just glad that Fandango seems like he's like just doing what he wants to do now.
Yeah, I mean,
spent like his entire 90 days fucking redoing his entire house.
Now that like WWE isn't the only place where you can get big off of professional wrestling, there's kind of a freedom that seems to be whenever somebody's 90-day expires.
Yeah. Speak of the devil and he shall appear, actually. Apparently, Braun Strowman has been in talks with AEW. Apparently, Impact really wants him. He has been talking to AEW. And there are one or two rumors, and I don't really know how loud these rumors are per se, but there's a rumor that he's going to be the Joker for the Casino Ladder match.
There's a lot of rumors about that. I think Buddy Matthews, formerly known as Buddy Murphy's probably the biggest one, because he deleted that tweet too. The Joker card that he tweeted. But I don't know. Braun's like the one name that I want I don't want them to pick up Braun because Braun doesn't offer anything. Braun will be great on Impact.
Yeah.
He has a similar vibe to everyone there. He'd be great at Ring of Honor. Even like NJPW, I feel like he'd be really good. Like him versus Hikuleo. That'd be cool.
I think that would be better for Impact, honestly, because you can get that on Impact.
Yeah.
I don't know. And speaking of people signing with, my eye is twitching. This is embarrassing. Speaking of people signing with AEW, it seems like there is a chance, shot in hell, that Bobby Fish signed with AEW.
Yeah.
He has a match with Sammy this Wednesday, which I realize we're not going to get to see, and I'm actually quite. But regardless, he the match card picture thing, whatever you want to call it,
Match card.
match card, was posted, and he's wearing a piece of Bobby Fish merch, and the bottom corner has the AEW logo. So there's rumors that Bobby Fish is All Elite.
Yeah.
If he is.
And
I'm going to cry. I love him so much. I'm so happy.
I'm happy for him too. He was also one of those names I was like, I don't know if he'd be able to offer much to AEW. But I mean, one feud that definitely would have to happen is him and Adam Cole, Bay.
Adam Cole already reacted to it.
Yeah, maybe even a partnership. Like maybe they can reunite Undisputed Era on AEW. That would be really cool.
I'm sort of wondering if that's sort of the ploy here.
Maybe.
If Tony's like, I'm going to rebuild this and make it better.
I mean, Undisputed Era already got the run of a lifetime on NXT. They pretty much accomplished all their dreams. Everyone won titles. They were the biggest name in NXT. They made NXT as big as it is. So I don't know if there's any point in reuniting them besides just the fuck you to WWE. But yeah, it'll be fun.
Be interesting. Also could be a draw to bring when the time comes, Kyle and Roddy over.
Yeah.
Whether it means like whether or not they actually like reunite in any capacity, I think it like kind of would give them a good reason to maybe say, yeah, I'll come over.
Yeah. And it will add another faction to AEW, which is a lot of fun. That's something WWE needs more. Factions.
Not allowed to have factions, Mark.
Yep. Then you end up like the Hurt Business, and two of you don't get drafted.
I have to imagine that they're saying on Raw.
Imagine they don't.
So last few pieces of news is one, apparently Rey Mysterio is not cleared to compete. There is no real reason why. It is just an undisclosed medical reason.
Interesting.
Yeah. He was supposed to compete a 6-man tag against the Bloodline at the San Juan show, but he not. Instead, Dominic fought Jinder, and the Bloodline took on Finn, Cesaro, and Drew, which, quite frankly, seems like a baller fucking lineup.
Yeah. I've been seeing those results. And they have Roman and the Bloodline lose a lot. Like, a lot. I get you have to play up the crowd and you have the face wins, but I feel like Roman's like the exception. Roman should always win. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're like vetting it to see like how the crowd reacts.
It's been happening like every week. They have him lose. They have him and the Bloodline lose.
I don't know, man.
But Ryan Satin said on Twitter that on Raw Talk they announced everyone else who was going to Raw. That is Dana Brooke, Dirty Dogs, Jackson Riker, Veer, Mia Yim, Tamina, Tegan, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and The Miz. Shanky and
Whoa.
Jinder were not in that group.
What about? Did you say Shotzi?
Did I say Shotzi? Let me go back.
Said Tegan. I would think that their names would be together.
You would think. Why can't I find Ryan Satin's tweet now? Hold on.
I'm holding.
Tegan, yeah, Shotzi wasn't in there. And going to SmackDown is Shotzi, Natalya, Jinder, and Shanky.
So they broke up Natty and Tamina, and they broke up Shotzi and Tegan?
No, they didn't break up. Oh, yes, they did break up Natty and Tamina. They should just get rid of those. They should get rid of the women's tag titles at this point. Like, just add a mid-card title for the women and call it that.
Oh my god, that is fucking ridiculous.
Remember when they were #1 contenders? And last SmackDown, they even said, hey, we're up next for the tag title because we already have #1 contender. Although, October 22nd is when it takes into effect. Oh, God. And they broke up, or they removed Veer from Jinder and Co. Is interesting. Wonder, like, what would Veer, unless they're bringing the other, what was the tag team name? What was Veer's tag team?
Indus Sher.
Yeah, the other half of Indus Sher. Maybe they'll bring him back.
Sing.
Was it Singh? No, it was Gaurav, Gaurav and no, definitely. I don't think it was Singh.
I'm almost positive it is. Rinku Singh and so. Oh no, wait, because Veer is not what was his. That wasn't his name.
Yeah.
There was Saurav Gurjar and Rinku Singh, and I don't remember.
Right.
I think Saurav is the one that's not around right now.
Okay, I thought it was the other way around. But anyway.
Nobody look at me right now.
It's
nightmare.
I mean, what they could do is bring in Ember Moon up and have her tag with Shotzi again.
You're implying that like they accidentally broke up these women's tag teams.
No.
And we're like, oh no.
No. I'm saying they're multiplying. So they would break up Tegan and Nox to have Ember come up and tag with Shotzi and call Dakota up, the team with Tegan, because WWE doesn't care about continuity in NXT, i.e. Ciampa and Gargano.
I have no clue. My head is like spinning now. That has me like absolutely out of my mind, I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of questionable decisions, but is there any more news?
There's one piece of news, you're gonna laugh at me. It is
Trademarks.
2 trademarks. These are actually interesting trademarks. They have trademarked Raw, Rebound, and SmackDown Breakdown.
They sound like a recap names, like recap bits.
Yeah. They previously used Raw Rebound for a brief segment recapping Raw. That I think would air on SmackDown, and I would imagine vice versa.
Okay. Alternatively, it sounds like post show names like Talking Smack and Raw Talk, like just renaming those.
Yeah. I like Talking Smack though. I mean, Raw Talk, whatever.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it, but
Um,
I'm still like my head is spinning. I'm sorry. I'm like,
like I
what the
said,
fuck?
a lot of questionable decisions. It's been the entirety of WWE. All right. Just to add on top of it being questionable, how they tweeted it's been 2 years since Brock Lesnar crushed Kofi Kingston for the WWE title and made the worst booking decision in recent years.
Hmm.
All right, so let's get into the recap of this mediocre episode of Raw. So we get Becky Lynch coming out to start off. She says, "The man has come around to Monday Night Raw. It's been about 1.5 years since I stood on this stage. I'm about to make a lot of executives unhappy by jumping the gun. So the first draft for Raw is Big Time Bex. This is my show now. I know I'm still holding this," pointing to the title, "but I was the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, but I never lost that title. The person holding it now, Charlotte Flair. Since I beat her, she's never been the same. I've been better than ever, and she can't stand it. It's time to be Becky Two Belts once again." Charlotte Flair then comes out. She says, "Let me say hello to my old friend Bex. Let me remind you, before you were Becky Two Belts, you were Becky Pre-Show. I made you famous. You really need to get over your inferiority complex. You're always going to be looking up to me. Clearly, we have some unfinished business." Bianca Belair then comes out. "You're all talking unfinished business. You must feel threatened because you both took cheap shots at me. Neither of you are ready for the EST of WWE, soon to be EST of Monday Night Raw, because I go here now." Charlotte just goes, "That was really cute, but shh. The champions are talking." Bianca says, "Who do you think you're talking to? I know you didn't just disrespect me. Technically, you don't even go here anymore. So, Becky, you better get your girl because she doesn't know me." Charlotte says, "First of all, I'm no one's girl. I'm not a girl. I am a woman. You've done a lot. You've almost done as much as me. But the only thing you should be doing is thanking me for paving the way for you." Becky chimes in and says, "I don't know, Bianca. That sounds pretty disrespectful to me. If it was me, I'd fight Charlotte right now. I've done it so many times, I've got nothing to prove. You two have never fought before. I wonder what would happen. Bianca, I only give out opportunities, not charities." Oh wait, that was Charlotte that said that. Bianca says, "I've got something I can give to you." She starts taking off her earrings. Pierce and Sony come out. They say, I think we can give you guys the right opportunity. I think we're looking at a hell of a main event. It'll be Charlotte versus Bianca. Then we have Natalya and Tamina versus Rhea Ripley, Nikki Ash for the title. But first, a United States Championship match." And Jeff Hardy comes out for that match. It's another situation where it's like, if this didn't happen, if Charlotte and Bianca hadn't had this little fight, if Becky hadn't instigated this, what would the main event have been? What did they originally have booked? Do they in kayfabe not know what is gonna be booked? Do they just hope that these wrestlers will cause some shit, stir up some shit during the show, and they'll just have the main event fall in their lap? Which it seems happens.
I don't know. It always confuses me.
Horrible business practices. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Alright, so I was in the bathroom for this, so Liz had to fill me in, and that's why I tweeted why Bobby wasn't drafted because I was in the bathroom for this part. So we got the first round draft picks. Bobby stays on Raw. Bianca goes to Raw. The Usos stay on SmackDown, and Sasha stays on SmackDown. Really thought they were gonna make a whole storyline of trying to keep the Usos on SmackDown. Like,
Yeah.
you had a perfect setup there. Makes no sense.
Also, to be fair, while Mark was tweeting why wasn't Bobby drafted, he kept asking me, he's like, so Bobby hasn't been drafted? I was like, no, I don't think so. I fucking watched the thing.
You told me twice.
Yeah, definitely said that 2 times to you.
Yeah.
So to be fair though, I told you it twice the moment you came back.
Mm-hmm.
So we're both at fault here.
But you watched it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mary also said, it just proves that the Raw and SmackDown writers can't be the same. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the SmackDown writers were definitely setting up for something where they were like, this is gonna be like X, Y, and Z is gonna happen, and then like gonna get the New Day back together, it's gonna bring the Usos back to SmackDown, it's gonna be a whole thing, don't worry guys. And Raw writers were just like, saw the memo and just no.
The like the head writer just looked at it and he looked at that, and then he looked at the draft list and saw that the Usos were drafted to SmackDown already. Like, shit. Oh God. What a mess. What a mess. Then we get Damian Priest versus Jeff Hardy for the United States Championship.
This was when I knew it was going downhill a little bit. This was when I knew the apple cart was off the tracks, just a fraction of a centimeter.
When Jeff Hardy got his 3rd United States Championship opportunity.
You would think that like the 3rd one would be the one where Jeff Hardy wins, Damian Priest goes to SmackDown, Damian Priest, for whatever reason, fights Roman, and I live happily ever after.
Well, the worst part is we don't get promos leading up to this. Like, give us like, give us something, like a promo before this, or an open challenge, or Jeff Hardy comes out again, or like I don't know. They need to space out their title matches. They really do. They really do. I mean, this is the 2nd week in a row where we got maybe 3rd week in a row where we got a United States Championship defense.
Yeah, I don't think that Damian needs to be defending this title 24/7.
Damian should have lost it today. Really should have. Should have lost it.
He
Went to
should have,
SmackDown.
and then he.
Actually, Jeff Hardy's going to SmackDown, so that will just been brought there. Bring Shinsuke to Raw.
I really thought that's what was going to happen.
Yeah. You would have thought. But that's the problem.
Would have made sense. It would have been good writing.
Yeah. You see, Liz,
Anyways.
that's the problem is you know wrestling. That's the problem. You got to think from the perspective of one of WWE's writers. So think like an intern. Think like a magazine editor.
Yeah.
Think like a sports editor. Not a creative mind. Sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone of those jobs that I listed. Think like a passionate fan.
I swear to God, you know what I'm going to do one of these days? I'm going to send WWE the most impressive fucking resume they've ever seen, and I'm going to say, I don't know what the fuck wrestling is. I'm going to get fucking hired, and then I'm going to change everything, boys. Everything's getting changed. This is how I stage my coup.
And they'll be like, you said in an application like a year ago saying you were a fan of wrestling. What happened?
I don't know that bitch.
Yeah, that was Elizabeth Vink.
Don't you dare.
All right.
Don't compare me to that man.
You mean Duke Hudson?
Oh, dear God.
So yeah, now we've got Damian Priest versus Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, so there's a shoulder tackle to Jeff. Jeff gets kicked and sees himself out of the ring. Damian then avoids Jeff as he goes to. Jeff gets up on the fucking apron, dude, and goes to like fly out onto Damian. And Damian just says, "See ya."
And then Corey was like, "This is what happens when you fight each other so much. You just know each other's moves, but also you can see him standing up on the turnbuckle, and you know what he's gonna do. You can just step to the side."
It's just like, Jeff, god damn it, dude. So, we get cannonball Jeff off of the steps, which nearly brains Jeff on the corner of the announce desk. We get back in the ring. Jeff is sitting backwards on the top rope. This is, I think, post-commercial break. Jeff is sitting backwards on the top rope, fighting Priest off of him. He hits the Whisper in the Wind to Priest, and I kind of thought that was it. Really. I was like, that's fucking short.
Yeah.
No. There's a failed Reckoning after that, and a failed Twist of Fate, and a successful Bell Clap. Damian clotheslines Hardy. Hardy gets off a successful Twist of Fate finally.
Which
It's a Swanton.
he hits the Twist of Fate and the Swanton, and Damian still kicks out.
He hits the Swanton that nearly sends him headfirst into the ground. And he covers only to be rolled up and to lose, which, you know what? There is a potentially positive ending here.
Yeah.
Based on what Jeff said.
Yeah, so basically Jeff stays in the ring and he says that we're going to see a different side of him on SmackDown. I know everyone's throwing around, what's it, Willow?
Hello.
It might be what SmackDown originally had planned for Jeff after that bar brawl when we saw Nega Jeff.
That was Willow.
It
was like a,
wasn't like I think of Willow
I think
as
that's
like
what that was teasing.
Probably, yeah. But until we see the whole Willow, was it a mask or was it all face paint? Can't remember. I know it was like something extravagant.
This is one of those things where now that you've asked me, I actually don't know.
It was a really cool look.
Sure it was a mask.
Okay.
It's face paint too, I believe.
Until we see the whole mask and face paint and everything, it's gonna be Nega Jeff.
I mean, Jeff was straight up just talking about how he was gonna bring back Willow. So I'm holding tight. I'm holding tight to this.
All right. There was another point recently where I was talking about it. I think like months ago.
He was talking about it last September.
Oh, so a year ago.
Like this past September.
There was another time before then when he was on SmackDown prior.
Right. I'm just saying that the fact that he was just talking about it, and today he made the remarks he made.
Hard subject to change.
Okay.
Means things can change at a moment's notice, especially with Vince McMahon. Alright, so then, out of nowhere, and very awkwardly, Austin Theory comes out. He says, "No respect, Jeff. My dream has come true. I got drafted to Raw, and now I'm standing in the ring with Jeff Hardy." Austin, you've been drafted to Raw before. You were on Raw like over a year ago.
Think he's got the brain cells to remember that, Mark?
If he's NXT Austin, then no. But if he's Raw Austin, then yes. He says, I want you to know my childhood. I watched you and you inspired me. Is there any way we can take a selfie? Take a selfie. He attacks Jeff. He lays out Jeff. Jeff's on the floor, and he takes another selfie with him, and he posts them both on Twitter. But oh my god, NXT Austin Theory's gone. They butchered him. They've massacred my boy.
What you get for choosing Austin Theory as your boy?
Well, my boy was Gargano Jr. He's no longer Gargano Jr. I wonder what Johnny must be feeling right now. He's like, fuck, after all this character development.
Yeah, honestly.
Which is like anyone that comes up from NXT, you lose everything. Like, they literally take everything about your character and just say, fuck that, and give you something new. Like, they were going to do that with Adam Cole. So, then we get an interview with RK Bro. Riddle says, now that RK Bro's back in action, it's time we get revenge on AJ and Omos. He looks at Randy and says, you're glowing right now, Randy. Like, you look like a snake in the sun, you know, because a snake sheds its skin. And then Riddle...
I just glad that Randy showed up for work today, honestly.
Yeah. Randy says, Riddle, I appreciate the useless facts, but are you done? We have the opportunity to defend these titles. That doesn't happen until Crown Jewel. Another fucking title match that they announce on Twitter. They announce the small matches in the episodes, but they announce the big matches on Twitter. You would think they announce the big matches on TV, where they're trying to get all the viewers. But what is this? In the meantime, it's a special night because I have a proposition. Omos, I'm talking to you. I think it is time that we go one-on-one. Fat chance. Then we get draft round 2. Seth Rollins is drafted to Raw following Edge, who was drafted there yesterday, or on Friday. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs stay on SmackDown. Damian Priest stays on Raw, and Sheamus is moved to SmackDown. That'll be very interesting. Would love Sheamus versus Shinsuke, but I tweeted, it's a shame we never got Sheamus versus Big E again, this time for the WWE title. Because they had a killer feud for the IC title.
Honestly, though, I can have one thing. I just want resolution to the Sheamus Jeff Hardy story. Sami Zayn is finally brought to justice.
Yeah. It's never gonna happen.
You will never, ever, ever convince me that it was not Sami.
Yeah. It was definitely Sami. That's definitely what they went in thinking, but then it's like, shit, we booked ourselves into a corner. Can't say it's Sami now because he's gone. And then by the time Sami came back, they were on Raw. Sucks. Actually, no, when Sami came back, they were on SmackDown because he fought Jeff.
We thought that there was going to be, because he fought for Jeff for the belt, and we thought that there was going to be some sort of like aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, how are you telling me that the one person who was absent, the one person who had his belt taken away from him, wasn't the person that sneakily destroyed Jeff Hardy?
Mm-hmm.
What other man with a red hair and red beard is there besides Sheamus?
Heath Slater.
Fuck. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm also just realizing there's one person that was left out of the draft that's not injured. Elias.
I was wondering, because
It's been a while since we've got any of these Elias promos. Like, what's happened? I think they just don't know what to do with him, and they think they realize everyone's forgot about him, so they can have him just debut anywhere since he's a free agent. But how do you forget about Elias? Come on, they teased a big thing for him.
I don't know. I don't know if we're. I'm not gonna say it. I don't know if he's gonna come back with anything special.
Oh, I mean, he got rid of his whole guitar gimmick. Miriam said rewrites probably. I would hate if he came back and he still had the guitar. I mean, guitar is good for him, but they had this whole storyline that they've been trying to build up. Whatever. So then we get Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke, who we haven't seen in a hot minute.
Yeah. So Dana's hyperextending Shayna's arm in the corner. It looks really goofy. Before unloading some punches, we get a funky little arm breaker to Dana. Shayna goes to stomp on the arm, but she can't get it. She gets rolled up, and then gets Dana into an armbar, and then the Kirifuda clutch to knock Dana out.
Yeah, and then she's about to brutalize Dana like she did everyone else, and then Doudrop comes out to help her. I'm so tired of this Doudrop gimmick. It is so corny. It's so bad. She pulled a reverse Bailey, which doesn't work.
The thing with Piper is that it seems like she's kind of over with the crowd. I'm happy for her for that. Maybe she's having fun. I don't know. I do miss Piper the Viper.
Yeah.
Trying to give this version of Piper a chance. It's hard, but I'm trying.
It would be better if she had better walkout music. I mean, I don't know. It's just they try so hard to like be there for the children crowd, but then that conflicts with their storylines of like Drew with a sword threatening to slash people up, them saying shit.
Drew keeps threatening to stab people, and it's getting a little stressful.
Yeah. I mean, he smashed Ginger's
not a face
car.
move, Drew.
You've also got Goldberg threatening to kill Bobby Lashley. Like, that is not a children's program.
Goldberg straight up said, "I'm going to murder you," and everyone was like, "No, DQ, that means I can kill you." And I was like, "No, Goldberg, it doesn't." Funny enough.
I mean, that's why I feel like AEW feels so consistent and resonates more, because they seem to aim for one demographic. Aiming for like the 16 to 20 demographic is probably the best, because kids can watch that and still feel fine. Like it'll still resonate with them, and then older crowds can be into it. I don't know. I feel like WWE is just trying to hit across the board with all the demographics, but it's not gonna work. You're spreading too far and wide. But after that, we get an interview with the Usos and Paul Heyman. They even had a promo to go with the storyline, but there wasn't anything to do with. I don't know, and this didn't add anything either. Kevin walks in and starts interviewing them. Paul Heyman says, "You're prettier than Kayla. I am the warden of the Uso Penitentiary." Love that he opens with, "You're prettier than Kayla." You know what, Paul? Go off.
Like, you know what, Paul? Okay. if that's where we're swinging today, sure.
And Kevin asks, "Is that how you've maintained Brock Lesnar's status as a free agent?" And then the Usos and Paul shut up, and the Usos just stare at Paul with knives in their eyes. They stared daggers into him. That's the phrase.
Paul Heyman's gonna die.
I'm telling you, the crown jewel has got to be a Paul Heyman on a pole match.
Well, I think it's gonna be one of those situations where Roman's like, I don't fucking want him, so you can have him. Have fun.
Yeah. So then we had Mustafa Ali and Mansoor versus Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, which this sounded like a banger of a match because both these tag teams are awesome. They all rock, but this was a 2-minute match.
That's the one thing that I've noticed with these 2 draft episodes is that the matches really suffer at the hand of the draft picks. Like I get it, but just have fewer matches.
No, I mean, not even SmackDown so much. SmackDown was fine with the matches.
So SmackDown was okay, but SmackDown's matches were also very short.
They had 3 matches.
Yeah.
And even today's Raw had less matches than normal, but they had 7. They need to get rid of those interview segments. You didn't need Heyman and the Usos in an interview. You didn't need you kind of need RK Bros interview. You didn't need Austin Theory coming in because Jeff Hardy's not going to be on fucking Raw soon. That's not a storyline you're fucking building up. What else didn't you need? What else didn't you need? You didn't need the 24/7 bit. Cut that out. Kevin Owens bit with Tozawa. Interview with Seth. You didn't need that. Yeah, you could have cut out all that stuff and just extend the matches. You run a... I know they're not a wrestling company anymore. They're not a pro wrestling company, but their main product is still focused on professional wrestling and in-ring storytelling. Focus on that. That is your primary medium. Like that is where your climaxes happen.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's like if we were doing the UPF and we had we cut down all of our matches be 2 minutes long. Suddenly all of our promos are longer than our matches combined, and we suddenly have a 5 to 10 minute long episode. Yeah.
Anywho. Also, this match kind of suffered from the fact that there were so many tags. Like, so many tags.
Also, Lince Dorado is still a free agent, and he tweeted him waiting with ...
There's an ant.
Oh, okay.
Tried murdering it.
Did it work?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I
that's
think it was
fun.
successful. Yeah. So that sucks. I'm not shocked by any means. I think that Lindsay is getting shit end of the stick.
What is going
I'm gonna have
on?
to fucking kill you. Hang on. I've got to do this. I'm gonna do this.
You want me to talk about the
And-
episode or talk about the match?
I want you to talk about Lindsay.
What's there to talk about Lindsay? He's a free agent.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think he's being subjected to the kind of some flack for the fact that Grand Metalik has requested his release and Callisto was already released. I feel like there's something to that.
I mean, it probably has to do with that, but they can't separate Lindsay from Grand Metalik, so they feel the need to draft them together. Which, I mean, I get. What?
Killed it, and it crunched.
What do you... Yeah. Bug. Bugs
I
crunch.
heard it. Thank you. Anyways.
Talk about the match.
We got Mansoor and we got Umberto in. Mansoor is whipped into the corner by Umberto, and then Mustafa gets in, and then Garza gets in, and Mustafa dodges Angel, sending him into the corner, kicks him upside the head. We get a stiff right to the face of Mustafa. Mustafa, however, manages to... He grabs, like... It looks like he's kind of going for, like, a knee breaker, almost. But instead he, like, grabs Angel by, like, the knee and part of his upper body, and then, like, kind of, like, corkscrews himself into, like, a suplex. I don't know what the fuck to call it, but it was bananas. Vince Mansoor comes in to attack. He gets sent out by Umberto, and there's a clothesline to Mansoor ringside. Umberto slams Mustafa's head into the post, and then Angel rolls him up to win.
Yeah, very underwhelming for what could have been an incredible match. Like this is definitely a match that they should have given extra time to. The rest, whatever. This is like the one where you know these guys can pull off something amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so, and it does seem like there's kind of a ladder that they're having them climb up. Clearly, Angel and Umberto are like the guys that are probably gonna be the next challenger to RK Bro. And wait, were they drafted to SmackDown?
Hey,
Angel
bro.
and Umberto?
Angel and Umberto were.
This is why you need a plan. This is why you need, like, what is happening? What is gonna happen now with Angel and Umberto if they're climbing the ladder on Raw? What is there for them on SmackDown? Are they gonna be like next in line for the SmackDown tag titles? In which case it's heel versus heel.
Well, it didn't Mansoor and Mustafa also drafted to SmackDown?
Yeah.
I guess
So,
the feud can continue.
yeah, possible. But still,
Bless their nose when you got
Big E and Finn
knows
Balor are the #1 contenders still.
Oh, we just saw how much a #1 contenders match means.
Yep. All right. So then we get draft round 3. AJ Styles and Omos stay on Raw. Shayna Baszler goes to SmackDown. Kevin Owens goes to Raw, and Xia Li is called up to SmackDown. All interesting. Like AJ and Omos staying on Raw is really good. So we'll get Finn and AJ together. That's awesome. If they give them a story, maybe we can get Balor Club back or the OC. Shayna Baszler going to SmackDown could be fun. Her versus Toni Storm's a good matchup. Kevin Owens to Raw would be pretty interesting. He'd be away from Sammy. But I feel like there's a lot for him on Raw. And then Xia Li to SmackDown, it's whatever. They probably won't give her much. Can't imagine.
Yeah, I've got some hope for her. I do.
I mean, I have hope. I've got a lot of hope in her and her abilities. I don't have a lot of hope that SmackDown writers will give anything that's not to the 4 horsewomen.
Well, like, if you're not a big meaty man, you're gonna be fucked, and if you're not one of the 4 horsewomen, you're gonna be fucked.
Or Bianca.
Like 2 classes of people in in the WWE main roster.
Yeah. All right, so then we get Big E in the ring. Says it feels incredible to be on my show, but I'd be lying if I said the past week or so didn't meet me with some challenges. Kofi and Xavier were drafted to a brand I am not on. I was also in the most physically grueling match in my career. I made sure the almighty Bobby Lashley fell to his knees. I came show the world I am your rightful WWE champion. But in typical WWE fashion, before I could even breathe for a minute, the next challenger declared himself. This man is no joke. He is a two-time WWE champion. He is an actual and literal swordsman. This man is Drew McIntyre. Before I waste more of your time, if you will, Drew, come down to this ring and speak your mind. Drew McIntyre comes out. He says, I have unfinished business on Raw. I've been waiting for a hero to step up and liberate that title from Bobby Lashley, and now you're WWE champion. This is where most would antagonize you. But I will tell you the truth. You deserve to be WWE champion. I do things the old-fashioned way. I want to look you in the eyes and congratulate you. But couldn't he have done that last week when he came out after the steel cage match? Couldn't he have just walked to the ring after the cameras cut and say congratulations?
This had a weird beginning for sure.
But technically, you did cash in on an injured Bobby Lashley. But he also fought Bobby Lashley in a steel cage. So.
He kind of proved himself a couple times over.
And he won did he win that triple threat? With Roman and Bobby? Oh, Roman won that. But where am I? Although Lashley attacked me from behind and he cashed in on me, and technically nobody likes Lashley, and technically I challenge you for a match for the WWE Championship. And then the Dirty Dogs come out, which is not something I was expecting. And Rude says, Dolph and I were minding our business in the back. We couldn't help but overhear this beautiful story. Dolph says, very inspirational, E. I am genuinely proud of you. I texted you congrats, you left it on red though. It's an inspirational story. I just wondered why you thanked everyone. You forgot to thank me. And Biggie says, you want me to say thank you. Dolph says, I knew you'd forget. And then we get a video package of Biggie and Dolph when they were a team. And Biggie was Dolph's bodyguard. Dolph says, we were at WrestleMania dominating. I'm sure that had nothing to do with my mentoring. There's no New Day or Money in the Bank cash in without DZ. There is no Big E. I know E. Oh no. Dolph says, I don't know, E. You might have a point. Dolph says, easy, Jack. You were next. And then Drew mimics the what chants. He shouts, what? At Dolph.
The thing was, it was like, it was mimicking it, but at the same time, the fact that he did it the one time, it was very, like, not quite at the right time. I was like, Andrew.
I also hate that the fucking crowd was what chanting Dolph and Rude, because it's like, do you guys remember the last time Dolph and Drew got in a feud? It was fantastic. Last year, Extreme Rules. It was one of the best title feuds Drew had in his title run.
Definitely couldn't have been what chanting them that loudly because I didn't notice.
Oh, I caught it. That's why Drew was what chanting. Or he said what.
I thought he was just being a dick.
No, he was catching on. But Dolph says, he says, we all know where your career was a few years ago. You made an inspirational story and brought yourself back to WWE. We see a video package with them. He says, all I've ever wanted, because I am a gentleman, is a simple thank you. The one reason I don't like this is because he ran this back a year ago at Extreme Rules. This is what he did. This is the story he did when he went to Drew for his title. He pulled the same thing, talked about the same storyline, talked about the same reference. If it stuck with Big E, that'd be fine. Drew says, "You want thank yous from the two of us." Big E says, "Clearly you've upgraded from the both of us." Rude gets offended. He says, "I am twice the friend and partner you ever were. You, a bodyguard. I put the body in bodyguard. You call yourself Big E. They call me Big Bob." Big Bob. Bob's big boy.
I also love that Rude was like, not just am I like stronger or better than you, I'm twice the friend. Like, yeah, that's what matters, buddy.
I mean, that really is. That really is what matters. And Drew says, "Not one person calls you that." And Dolph says, "Don't disrespect Big Bob. All I'm asking is for a simple thank you." Big E says, "We do owe you something, and that something is an ass whooping. So how about the two of you?" Oh no, Drew says this. "So how about the two of you against me?" Oh no, Big E saying this. "How about two of you against me, Big E?" And Drew says, "And me, Big D." This whole fucking promo.
It was a bit off the rails. I needed to like lay down.
He says, "Right here, tonight, right now." And then we get that match. We get Big E and Drew McIntyre versus the Dirty Dogs.
Yes, we do. We have Drew versus Dolph to start. He slams Dolph onto the apron. Big E gets in. He goes for the big splash on the apron. This gets Rude back in after the fact. There's a shoulder tackle to Rude. Drew gets back in. Rude kicks Drew in the chest. And Drew then drops Rude. Big E gets in off that. Dolph gets in. He drop kicks E. There's a headlock. Rude gets back in. He stomps on E in the corner. He goes for a knee drop on E, but Big E avoids. Drew gets back in. There's a boot to the face and then an overhead toss suplex to Rude and a second one. Dolph pops in illegally and gets the same treatment. Drew goes to splash Rude in the corner, but Rude dodges him, sending him shoulder first into the post. Ringside afterwards, because Rude went to go attack Drew after he kind of like fell out to ringside. And the ref was like, no, stay in the ring, which distracted the ref and let Dolph get a super kick in.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
What is the ref doing? What is his point? Never mind. Not the point. So we get a set. We go to commercial break. We come back. There's a side headlock on Drew from Rude, and then an elbow to the face of Rude, and then Ziggler gets. And then Ziggler. I don't know. Elbow to the face of Rude, and then one to Ziggler. There's a headbutt to Robert. Then Big E gets in. Dolph gets in. There's a suplex to Dolph twice, and then a third time. He manages the big splash. He can't quite get the big ending, though. Dolph, on his way over Big E's back, rakes Big E's eye. Doesn't really help him because Big E Uranagi's him the moment Dolph runs at him. Rude saves the day for Dolph. Big E tosses Rude to the apron. Goes to spear him off of the apron, but gets a knee to the chest or the stomach. Dolph goes for the cover, but Drew interferes this time. He suplexes Rude ringside after Rude sends him out of the ring. Dolph tries to roll up E. In there, folks. There's no luck. There's a near super kick to E, but Dolph gets stopped. Big E catches him. Big E goes for the big ending, but Drew tags in on E as he's about to do it. He hits the Claymore onto Dolph to win. Rude interferes post-match and gets the big ending himself.
Although this feud is probably going to end at Crown Jewel, it could be really good. because I mean both these guys are incredible workers, and they're doing the face feud, which when done right, which it seems like it's happening, it ends up being really good, really interesting. So then we get Reggie and Adam Pearce. Reggie says, "I thought you wanted to talk about the draft." Pearce is like, "No, you must have heard the wrong thing." Viking Raiders walk in. They block the exit. Reggie's ambushed by Truth, and then Reggie evades everyone, attacking him. Apollo and Aziz walk in, and then he just says, Apollo says, "Reggie, it's good to see you again." Reggie runs away. Apollo says, "Commander, I told you it would be exciting." And then Kevin Owens comes out. He comes out to the ring. Akira Tozawa comes out. He says, "I'm so sorry to interrupt. Kevin Owens here. Welcome back to Monday Night Raw. Tonight, I don't want to fight you. I want to fight Reggie for the 24/7 title right now." And then Kevin gives a stunner to Tozawa. Like, I get it. This is to provoke Tozawa to probably do like a bigger push or something. I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah. But this wasn't fucking necessary. This whole segment wasn't necessary. You got his squash from Keith Lee last week. That should be enough.
I wonder if okay, so this is going to sound not great. It's not my fault. The whole pushing Tozawa thing is kind of, I don't know, in my head, if that's what they would do.
Yeah.
Because Tozawa isn't, he's got a really heavy accent, and we all know how the WWE feels about that shit.
You mean how Booker T feels?
Fucking it. That's one of those things that I'm like, if they're giving him a push, awesome. But at the same time, based on history, I'm not sure if they are, but if they aren't, then what the fuck are they doing?
You just gotta give him a gimmick change. Like, you don't even have to give him a push. Give him a gimmick change away from that stereotypical ninja shit.
Yeah, give him, make him a person.
Something serious. God. Then we get draft round 4. Street Profits go to Raw. They're not broken up, unlike 2 women's tag teams. Viking Raiders go to SmackDown. Finn Balor goes to Raw. And Ricochet goes to SmackDown. Finn Balor is probably the most exciting one here. There are going to be some interesting feuds on Raw. Please bring back either Balor Club or the OC. Please. I want it. Inject into my veins.
Oh, I want Balor Club so badly. I think if anything, it'd be Balor Club, because like that's how Finn has been referring to himself since returning.
Him, AJ, and Omos.
For me.
Mm-hmm. You could have AJ and Omos be the tag guys. Finn's the singles guy. Maybe a 4th person. Who, if you had to add a 4th person to Balor Club, who would you add? Somebody on Raw.
On Raw?
Yeah.
Maybe Damien.
I'm gonna say no to Damien. Personally.
Sorry.
Just
really, there was a right answer.
Well, only reason I wouldn't say Damien is because he should be the one to beat Roman Reigns and be the singles guy, even though he's still on Raw. Oh, I'm like suddenly not remembering anybody on Raw.
If anyone's wondering why I'm yawning so much, it's my migraine medicine. I'm sleepy. Not actually tired. Run down.
Rundown. Somebody post a list. Oh wait, Ryan Satin posted the list of the roster. I keep going back to Ryan Satin's Twitter. Let's see. Show me Raw. Ooh, Edge would be a good one. Give him something to do. Oh, you know what? It's easy. Austin Theory.
I would not put that upon Finn. Thank you, though. That would be horrible. I would hate every second of that.
Or let's see. Ooh, could do John Morrison. I've talked about how John Morrison would be a good addition to the Bullet Club. I think adding him to Balor Club, it would add some humor to it. You could turn AJ more serious than they have been lately. Have John Morrison be the funny guy. Or yeah, I guess maybe Veer. Either John Morrison or Veer, in my opinion.
I think Damien's just kind of got the edginess that would work really well for it. Also, at the same exact time, I want Finn Balor and Damien to fight to the death. I think that'd be just. I'm so excited for that rematch.
You know, I don't really think of edginess when I think of Bullet Club anymore. Now that they've got like Chris Bay.
I mean, but Bullet Club is just. It's kind of like. I wouldn't say grittier, I guess, but like it's more. It's edgier. It's just a little edgier. It's not.
The way I see it is it's like edgy best friends. Like they're all best friends at the end of the day, but they've got a little bit of an edge to them.
Actually, it was really cute. I watched Galoa fight fuck did he fight? I'm not gonna remember it. But it was somebody else from
Bullet Club?
yes.
Chase Owens?
No, that I don't want to talk about Chase Owens right now.
Didn't
Do you know about him?
Didn't he beat Tanahashi?
He beat Tanahashi today.
People are mad about that.
I'm mad about that. he I didn't realize the cage match does it like date, month, year. It was just like March 10th was not the last time he wrestled. Yeah, so he fought Yujiro Takahashi. And it was funny because like they kind of like turned on each other halfway through the match in like the sense that like Takahashi kind of like went in for the too sweet and Tonga went in for the too sweet and then kicked him in the stomach. And I was like, oh no, we're fighting. And then at the end, Tonga Loa helped him out of the ring and like brought him backstage. I was like, oh.
I gotta watch more NJPW.
You should watch it with me. It's so much fun.
I wanted to today, but then work called.
I have like all new favorite wrestlers now. The cool thing is that I could have actually watched a live show today, and I didn't. For whatever reason.
Okay.
I didn't pay attention. But then I saw the results coming in, like, I was like, oh, that happened 7 minutes ago?
My thing is, what got me a little mad, it's from a couple days ago, Shingo Takagi lost to, I forget who he lost to. But he's the guy, he's the heavyweight champ. He lost.
Let's see.
I forget who he lost to.
I know that he just fought Kota.
Maybe it was Kota.
Oh, fucking shitting A.
Well, we have another match to get to. Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley versus Natalya and Tamina for the women's tag titles. And this one was not very fun.
No, it was not. So we start with Nikki versus Natalya. Natalya bonks Nikki into buckle after buckle before beating her up in the corner. There's a drop kick twice to Natalya though. Go ringside. Tamina gets in, but Nikki doesn't see that. He ends up slamming Nikki down with a boot. We get a headlock on Tamina, though. Tamina still managed to get Nikki back down to the ground. Natalya gets in. Nikki rolls Natalya up in a small package without any luck. She gets Rhea in off this. There's a dropkick to Tamina, who also tags in. And, oh no, there's a dropkick to Tamina, sending her off the apron. And then a short arm clothesline series to Natalya. She then headbutts Natalya in the chest, which Natalya acts like she got hit in the jaw. I thought was interesting. But then Rhea dropkicks her in the head. Rhea gets sent into the buckles. Natalya does that new thing that she does where she like runs from behind the person and like stomps on their head, which looks very painful. Rhea then hits the Northern Light suplex to Natalya after dodging a dropkick. The riptide to Tamina after she gets in. Nikki tags in off of that. She splashes Tamina off of Rhea's shoulders to win. She goes like from electric chair position down onto Tamina. So.
Yeah, very short match. But now Natty and Tamina are broken up for some reason.
Also, to be fair, Kota did defeat Takagi. But so did Zack Sabre.
Really just fucking over Takagi right now. Alright, so
Wrestle so much that I feel like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't register in my head the same way that it registers when I'm watching like WWE.
Right.
Sorry.
Like I've heard, NJPW just does their own shit. No rhyme or reason to it.
Definitely don't have like a ton of promos, that's for sure.
So then we get draft round 5. Karrion Kross stays on Raw. Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza go to SmackDown. Alexa Bliss stays on Raw. I am shocked that Alexa Bliss was this low, or this late into the draft. Like, you're telling me you picked the Viking Raiders over Alexa Bliss? Come on. And then Cesaro stays on SmackDown. Again, Cesaro just went for a Universal title shot.
Mm-hmm.
And you pick the Viking Raiders over him. You pick Karrion Kross over him. Okay. Then Goldberg comes out. And he stands in the ring and he says Bobby Lashley has the audacity to claim that what he did to my son was a misunderstanding. It wasn't. It was intentional. To be fair, Mr. Berg, you don't know that. Bobby Lashley then comes out and says, for the last time, what happened to your son was a misunderstanding. You must be insane to think I'll come down to that ring and ruin this suit to beat your ass. Miriam says, starting to think the draft order was just Vince picking names out of a hat. It's fair. It's entirely possible. Bobby says, most of us aren't still dressing like it's 1998. Look at it from my point of view. At this point, it's a bit of character assassination. To be fair, Mr. Goldberg, if anybody hops over the barrier and tries to touch you, every wrestler will attack them. Chris Jericho punched a dude in the face shortly before this incident.
But it was Sundberg, Mark. You should have known.
Oh, yeah, the eyes in the back of the head should have known.
Sundberg radar should have been going off.
Yeah. Don't you know Sundberg always shouts Sundberg whenever he hops the barrier? He says, you owe me an apology. What is with today and everyone wanting an apology from everyone? Like, why is that the storyline everyone has? I know you want a match against me. I'll give you that match at Crown Jewel. That match is no holds barred. Oh, Bobby. You can bring your son along too. Goldberg gets on his knees and starts laughing. He says, no holds barred gives me a license to kill. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, Goldberg. It's still a
Mr.
sanctioned
Goldberg,
match. No, if Bobby had suggested this is an unsanctioned match, then yes, that would give you the license to kill technically, because WWE would not be liable. In a no-holds-barred match, WWE is still liable, so therefore, you do not have a license to kill Goldberg. God damn it. You think I'm crazy, and I am. You want an apology? I'll give you an apology. I'll apologize to your kids after I leave your lifeless body in the ring, gasping for air. There's one thing for sure, you're next. No, Goldberg, you said that you're next. And you're dead. God. Bobby says, Bill, you know that you can't kill the Almighty. You can let Gage know if he decides to do what he did last time. This time, it won't be a misunderstanding. What would you do if you were standing in the ring and jumped on your back? Yeah, and someone jumped on your back. And Cedric and Shelton attack Goldberg from behind. Goldberg fends them off, and leaving Bobby just staring at Goldberg. And then we get an interview with Seth Rollins. And this is the chaotic energy that Raw has needed. He says, guess who's back? Back again. Sethy's back. Tell your friends. I'm back, baby. Adam Cole. I'm better than I've ever been. Do not rain on my parade. After Kevin tries to mention Edge. Do not rain on my parade. I will take care of that business on SmackDown. I don't give a shit who steps to me. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth freaking Rollins.
Kevin, dude.
He's just fucking something else. And then
we
get
stand there the whole time, just like.
And then we get the New Day versus the Hurt Business, Cedric and Shelton.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. So we start with Shelton versus Kofi. He drives Kofi into the corner before just fucking flinging the guy. Cedric gets in. He does absolutely nothing. I'm pretty sure he just dragged Kofi around for like a solid 5 seconds. What's that face for?
Somebody posted the list of women's tag teams after the draft.
Oh.
And it's Rhea and Nikki. That's it. And need I remind you, they made a second women's tag title. For NXT. Oh boy, oh boy. Just get rid of the title. Get rid of the title, add a fucking mid-card women's title. Because clearly Vince isn't going to do anything for women's tag team.
So, real quick, let me just finish this match before I cry. So Shelton gets in. There's a tornado DDT to Shelton. Cedric and Xavier get in. There's like this crazy leg lariat to Cedric, and then a clothesline. Xavier counters something that Cedric was trying to do with a side Russian leg sweep. He goes to the apron, over the ropes and falls off the apron. Kofi then takes out Shelton ringside with a double stomp. As after Shelton goes to attack Xavier, there's a kick upside the head to Cedric. And then Xavier goes up top with a near coast-to-coast elbow drop. Win.
Yes. And I liked kind of the storyline was that Cedric and Shelton were injured after fighting Goldberg, so they didn't go in this 110%. It protects them a little bit. But you know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm thinking? Going back to the women's tag teams for a second. How much you want to bet? I'm willing to bet money right now. Or I'm willing to bet some kind of punishment on the next podcast. That on a week from today, on Monday, we will see the tag team of Liv Morgan and Tegan Knox. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. And then was Aaliyah was drafted to SmackDown, right?
SmackDown, I think. No, I think she was drafted to Raw because she was already on SmackDown.
Okay.
Almost positive she switched brands. I have no fucking clue though.
Then we'll probably see the tag team of Carmella and Aaliyah. And then on SmackDown, we'll probably get Shotzi and Dakota. Or Eva and Dakota. I feel like they would put Eva and Dakota together because they both have pink hair.
I hope they don't.
That's a very WWE thing to do. So then the Street Profits come out and they say, "Congrats to our guys, the New Day. Congrats on your movie. How did you manage to escape the Undertaker? No spoilers. We came out to congratulate you guys and let the WWE Universe know that the Street Profits are back on Monday Night Raw and we want the smoke." Then we go to commercial. We come back. Randy Orton comes out with Riddle. He says, "Omos, I'm here and I'm waiting. I haven't heard a response. It kind of makes me wonder, are you AJ's personal Colossus or are you just a big bitch?" AJ and Omos come out. AJ says, "Are you kidding me? You want a response? Have your response. We were celebrating my victory over Gilligan over there." I call him Gilligan because he calls me Skipper. This is so cute. That was really cute.
That actually, like, that for whatever reason made me go like, "Ooh."
AJ has consistently shown that he is probably the cutest member of the roster.
Hate it.
He says, "Also, you're insignificant, Randy. It doesn't matter if Omos destroys you. He would destroy you. Frankly, do you really think he has any brain cells left to stop us from stopping us from taking those titles at Crown Jewel? When we beat you, we can shove them in your face week after week." And Omos says, "As far as our match goes," Randy attacks AJ, interrupting Omos. Omos fights off Riddle, and Randy and Omos stand face to face, but Randy RKO's AJ. And then we get the final round of the draft. Carmella goes to Raw. Ridge Holland is called up to SmackDown. Very underwhelming. Probably not the best place for him. Yeah. And then Gable Steveson,
Joke.
Alleged rapist, to Raw.
Which means he's gonna get a huge push the moment his ass touches down in the ring.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that somehow WWE hasn't tried to cover that up.
I mean, to be fair, if you look up Gable Steveson online, there's no reference to it. It's not even something where it's like you type his name into Google and like it says like allegations or something like that. Like you would literally have to look up Gable Steveson and then what he did.
Yeah.
To find anything. There is a brief mention of it in Wikipedia, but Wikipedia very much like brushes it off like, anyways. He was suspended from participating in college sports for a minute.
Right. Yeah. If anyone's curious, just Google it. The information is the best source I found because AP and ABC will give you very brief articles about it. Somebody made a very comprehensive list of all the evidence and everything on Reddit with links to all the sources.
If I'm not mistaken, if you don't want to hear the word, I'm sorry, but if you look up Gable Steveson and then rape afterwards, I think it's like the third link. I was reading it today to make sure I wasn't about to say something wrong.
Yeah.
Careful like that.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a, oh no, the link isn't. I have the link saved if anyone has any questions on what it is. I have the list. All right, so then finally to end the night. Oh no, Sami Zayn was then drafted to stay on SmackDown.
Which I think is funny that he was the last draft pick.
He even tweeted in all caps last. God. They're really out to get him. Alright, so yeah, now we end the night with Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair. Oh, that rhymes.
Right. It's fine. It's funny because we had Shayna and Dana.
Oh yeah. Yeah. New Day, Hurt Business.
That doesn't rock.
Big E, Big D, Big Bob.
Yeah.
Dolph.
So there's a side headlock takedown to Bianca, who gets a side headlock on Charlotte. Charlotte takes out Bianca's legs. Bianca does the same thing to Charlotte. We get a cartwheel to avoid Charlotte, and then a drop kick to Bianca. Charlotte bonk into all buckles. Bianca hits a drop kick to Charlotte, and then she does a little too much teasing. Rolls her up. Uh-oh.
What's going on?
Headphones are about to die.
Your laptop about to die too because your audio is getting a little funky.
That's why.
Ah.
My headphones are about to die. What am I gonna do?
Maybe you should like plug in your laptop and all your stuff before.
Hey, buddy. Buddy?
Yeah.
Bud? Wheels? Huh?
What's going on? Kayla's not hear me. She obviously can't hear me because she doesn't have headphones in. There we go. Can you hear me? Okay.
So, there's a drop kick to Charlotte. Bianca does a little too much teasing. Charlotte rolls her up. Charlotte goes out to the apron. Bianca meets her out there. Gets thrown into a dragon sleeper and then a neck breaker. Charlotte then throws Bianca over the barricade into the timekeeper's area. We go to commercial break. We come back. Charlotte's got the dragon sleeper in again, but Bianca flips free. There's a failed boot to the face of Bianca and a drop kick to Charlotte before a lingering vertical suplex. Bianca then hits a springboard moonsault right onto Charlotte's knees. Charlotte ends up hitting Bianca with a big old powerbomb. Bianca wants another vertical suplex, but Charlotte ends up like using her weight to go over, lands on her feet. Bianca attempts a KOD. Charlotte lands on her feet again. Hits Bianca with a nasty little spear. She wants to stomp Bianca's leg against the ropes, but Bianca gets free. She ends up going up top, and Charlotte shakes the rope to wiggle her off of it. Charlotte then goes up top. She wants the moonsault. She can't get it. She lands on her feet. Moonsaults again. Gets that instead. She wants the figure 4, but she gets rolled up. Bianca ends up going for the KOD. But the moment she gets it, and the moment she goes to cover, Becky interferes and drags her off of Charlotte to disqualify the match.
Yeah. What could have been a fantastic match, just a DQ. So, that's our recap. That is our Raw for today. Stick around if you have a question for our question segment after the best of the night. Leave it in the chat now, and we will answer it after the bests of the night. Alright, so you want to talk about promo of the night? You want to change the sign too?
Also, If you have any questions for us, leave them in the chat.
I already said that.
Did you?
Yes.
Wow, I always think I'm gonna get it. Oh man.
You're not listening to me.
Oh, what's it like? What's it like?
There's no reference for that in the podcast recently. You go back maybe a week or two. Yeah, you'll probably find
I was gonna
something.
say it's probably not that far behind.
All right, so promo of the night.
Welcome to the podcast, Mark. You haven't welcomed anyone to the podcast. Anyways.
I know what I want for promo of the night. Do you know?
Yes.
Big E, Big D, Big Bob.
Dolph.
Dolph.
I'm so mad because I heard the first piano note and I was like, Robert Roode's back. Get glorious domination. But no, we didn't get that at all. But yeah,
Yep.
I think that's what I would choose.
They need to break up Dolph and Rude and have Rude be a singles guy with a manager. Give him a manager, he'd be fantastic. Have a fucking who's a manager right now? I mean, give Paul Heyman to him. Paul Heyman just says fuck it. I leave both Brock and Roman. Go to Rude. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was easily my promo of the night. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely the funniest thing in the whole night, and it was some great storytelling.
I thought it was funny. And as much as Dolph has done this angle before, does it really well.
Yeah,
He is so good on the mic. And I mean, honestly, outside of Rude, you had three men who are really great giving promos. So
yeah. I mean, Dolph doesn't get enough credit from everyone because he's never recently in the top spot. He's normally putting other people over. He's not booked well either. But when he is in the top spot, he is fantastic.
mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about wrestler of the night. I really don't know. I don't know who impressed me today. So out of all the matches, from Jeff versus Damien, I picked Jeff. From Shayna versus Dana, obviously I picked Shayna. Mustafa and Mansoor versus Umberto and Angel, I picked Mustafa. Biggie and Big D versus Big Bob and Dolph, I picked Biggie. Women's tag match, Rhea Ripley. New Day versus Her Business, Woods. And Bianca versus Charlotte, I picked Bianca. But I don't have a favorite out of any of them. It's not Shayna. It's not Mustafa. It's not Rhea. Not Jeff. Not Woods. I'll go with E. I don't know. Tough. I'll go with either Biggie or Bianca.
I've gone with Woods.
Woods? Fine, I'll go with Woods. It was a close third. Alright, and match of the night. This was a very uneventful match night. But let's go through worst to best. Starting with 4 out of 10. Women's tag champ title match. It was fine. It was lame. It was short. It ended with a roll up. Right? It ended with a roll up? No. Did it?
No, it ended with.
Oh, because they referenced the last one ending in a roll up.
It was like halfway through. Nikki was up in like the electric chair position on Rhea's shoulders and like was kind of like dumped down onto Rhea to win.
I mean, it was pretty boring, uneventful. Next up, another 4 out of 10, Mustafa and Mansoor versus Angel and Humberto. This could have been fantastic if he gave him more time. Give this match more time, this will be a fucking 8, 9 out of 10 right here. These guys are all fantastic in the ring. Just give them time. Next up, 4 out of 10, Bianca Belair. Oh no, Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke. It was a squash match. Really did what it needed to do. Next up, 5 out of 10, The New Day versus The Hurt Business. Give it more time. That's all you gotta do. It was decent. It was pretty enjoyable. But again, more time. That's it. Then another 5 out of 10, Damian Priest versus Jeff Hardy. This match didn't really need to. It shouldn't have happened. And it was very short. That's really all there is to it. It was decent overall, though. And then the 6 out of 10, Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair. Could have been a very fun match. Really could have been. But it ended with the DQ, so that brought it down. It would have been match of the night had it not ended in DQ. So my pick for match of the night, Drew McIntyre and Big E versus the Dirty Dogs. A lot of fun. Got a lot of character moments between Big E and Drew. And solid match.
Sure. I had a lot of fun with this match. I thought this was a good time. I thought it was kind of exactly what we all deserved.
Yeah.
As far as like new bookings can kind of go.
Yeah. But it was another example of the can they coexist match. Even though there's no contention between Drew and E.
I did like that even though Drew kind of like fucked E over, it was still kind of like a playful rivalry.
And then E got the big ending on Rude.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. So, run it back. Promo of the night. Big E meets Big D meets Big Bob meets Dolph. Wrestler of the night, Xavier Woods. Match of the night. Big E and Big D versus Dirty Dogs. Big Double D. Big E and Big D versus Big Double D. Alright, so you want to answer some questions?
I'll answer a question.
Alright, let's start with Miriam in chat. She asked if you could pick one main roster wrestler to be your mentor in the ring, who would you choose?
Whoa. Say that again.
If you could pick one main roster wrestler to be your mentor in the ring, who would you choose? A couple choices.
I think I know exactly who I would choose.
Who are you picking?
I would probably choose Shayna.
Shayna? Thinking either Drew Gulak or Finn Balor.
If I were made for anything in the world, it's definitely grappling. I'm a spidery little fuck. I feel like Shayna could present the most knowledge to me.
Only reason I say Finn is not only because of his in-ring ability, but also he seems like a very creative person. You'll be able to give a lot of insight on delivering your character in the ring.
Also, if I'm not wrong, and I have been wrong many times before, I think he trained Becky.
Really? Oh, yes, I did hear that.
I'm almost positive.
I think you're right.
Among a couple other people, but she was by Finn.
That is actually all the questions we have. None on YouTube. You have any questions for me?
Hmm.
No, you don't have to think of any.
Oh.
You want to close out the show?
Yeah, but first,
What?
Um, what would you
Um,
call it? What would you call it if if a Nigerian wrestler is asking for your forgiveness?
what?
An apology.
Oh, look at that. We're losing all of our followers. On Twitter, too. Miriam said, your humor is literally holding all of wrestling together right now.
I, they were talking about apologies today on the show, and I had to pull up Apollo Cruz's webpage, like his Wikipedia, so that I wouldn't forget to do this.
Alright, well, I'll close out the show. Thank you all so much for watching. Do you want to close it out?
Yeah. If you watched tonight, thank you so much. And if you watch in the future, thank you so much. There will be more jokes. I'll make more jokes.
Don't scare
Regardless
them
of what
away.
Mark wants. Um, please join us tomorrow night for our NXT podcast. We'll be talking about NXT. Most likely. I assume. And then we will not be doing our Wednesday night WWE 2K20 podcast on Wednesday. We'll be doing it on
Didn't we agree on Friday?
Saturday. We're not doing it on Friday because we have a podcast on Friday.
Oh, okay, so Saturday.
We're doing it Saturday.
Saturday, probably like 4 o'clock, something like that.
Maybe the evening because we do have Comic-Con.
Oh, right. God.
We're busy.
Go to a wedding and then Comic-Con. God. What if we just skipped one of them? Doesn't matter which. Just skip one. Alright, well, thank you all so much for watching. Like Liz said, Saturday will be WWE 2K20 Battle of the Brands. Don't forget to go to upfworld.com to check out the newest episode of our own promotion, but it's not wrestling, it's Pokemon. Follow and subscribe. Our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. Our Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube, is twitch.tv/the Pinfall Podcast. Join live and we could talk to you about wrestling. Thank you all for watching. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23, and we'll see you tomorrow for NXT 2.0.